Part of the show now, yeah, after 2 episodes, where somebody didn't even bother telling me they were going to record it to begin with.
Hey,
Just for the record, we did say that there may be episodes where neither of us are present, or one of us, or
I mean, I might die later. Who knows?
this is our trio here.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron. Unless you die, and
like
then
the-
you're done.
We're like the Three Musketeers.
Is that how you start going by, though, Aaron?
Yeah.
Although,
That's why I changed it to our Facebook group.
You done messed up, Aaron?
hey, Aaron, if you die, like, how do you want your funeral?
I mean, delete my browser history first, because
Well, naturally.
we're bros.
Yeah,
Naturally.
I mean, that's whatever, but there better be a Madden tournament just right on my gravesite.
Okay. Now, the quick question, is she going to get on your computer the moment she finds out you're dead?
I have a password on it, so it's cool.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the password?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that out loud.
Oh, hey there. Welcome to the control room. I'm Gage.
I'm David.
I'm telling you, it's y'all's show. I'm here to partake. And
This is Aaron.
I'm Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Because I done messed up.
That's
I start going by my gamer handle instead, Captain Firebird. That was still a cool one, though. I was like, oh, I have to come up with something decent. Been using the same damn gamer handle forever and a day.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. Although
Yeah, except
I've
for
changed
when-
mine like a dozen times too. So.
Except for when I got it, it was when you bought us an Xbox, and it was mine and Brandon's like mashed up into one.
Well, yeah.
So I kind of had to venture out on my own at some point.
But you and Brandon were mashed up into one.
Ooh.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another time.
Let's not go there.
All right, on today's topics, we're starting off with Modern Warfare Beta.
Yes,
It was open
that
beta last week.
2/3 of us played.
Hey,
last
I
weekend.
didn't get time to play it. I mean, I did. I watched, because that's all I ever do is I watch a bunch of YouTube videos about it. So at least I know something.
My first impressions of it were... it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The main multiplayer mode feels like Call of Duty, but then they've got the ground war. They've got the realism, which is basically hardcore.
Realism mode felt fantastic. I only got to play one match, but I gotta say it felt fantastic.
Now, my questions to those though: are we talking ground war? Like, did it have the actual 64-player?
Yeah.
Ground. Okay.
Yeah. They had the APCs rolling around and the zones to capture. It was my favorite mode. I enjoyed the crap out of it.
APCs were not overpowered.
Yep.
As long as you had teammates doing objectives, it was a good time.
Yeah, that's just like old school Battlefield. As long as people are doing something.
Except whenever everybody congregates on one zone and then just keeps dying in this
Giant
little
choke
box room.
And that could be that map. Sometimes map design has a big role in that.
Right.
We were all stuck on that central thing the whole time.
Yeah.
But, it felt good. It didn't feel like Black Ops 4. It felt like Call of Duty 4.
And while we were playing, we ran into several Xbox players, PlayStation players. The crossplay
So the
seems to be
crossplay was
working
working. That's good.
really well.
Now, in the lobby, there were several people complaining about the aim assist being OP. I didn't feel that.
I didn't feel that at all. Yeah. I felt like I sucked, but that's just coming back to
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Because you suck.
Yeah,
and
but-
I suck. And
Yeah.
But you guys were playing on the computer, right?
right.
Yeah.
So you might not have noticed the aim assist unless you actually go to play.
No, you don't get the aim assist, it seems like, if you use mouse keyboard, which is fantastic.
Right.
'cause
Right,
that
that's the way it should be.
discreet.
Right, that's how it should be.
But it didn't feel like console people were just beating PC people down, which was a concern I had when I found out aim assist was a thing.
But you know how that works. So it's a Call of Duty game. So anytime anybody dies, there's automatically some reason for them to
Freaking
die.
lag.
Right? It can't just be I suck.
Camper, noob tube.
Yeah. That was the sandbagging from back in the day.
Sandbagging was satisfying.
But the games
So satisfying.
very consistent. Never had like any connection issues. Never
Not
had
like
any,
with the new Battlefields that we've
Yeah,
been dealing
yeah.
with.
yeah.
have not had any mechanical issues with that game so far.
Are there exosuits?
No.
Like the
No.
last couple
Nope.
of Call of Duties?
No, there's still operators and stuff, but they don't actually have anything to do other than just cosmetic.
Right, but back in the day when Black Ops came out and they introduced the operators, I wasn't mad about those. You had the one that had the bow that gave you the bow
See,
that fired the explosive bolt.
That was the thing I didn't like, is when you had operators and guns that were locked
Yeah,
to
I
each
wouldn't have
other.
been a fan of that.
I
at all.
I don't care about my appearance as much as I care about being
Right.
able to build the kit that works for me. And
Right.
I'm
This
just-
Call of Duty is going to let you do that.
I'm just glad the characters don't have superpowers. That was my big thing.
But you don't like wall running
No.
and jumping 20, 30 feet in the air?
If I wanted to do that, I'd go play Titanfall.
Right. We play Apex or Titanfall or anything like that.
Other great games out there that have that, and we don't need it in Call of Duty.
Right, I mean-
Exactly. Call of Duty has its own identity. It should stick to it.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was one of the first games I played that was multiplayer. Back in the day, it was the original Call of Duty 4, and that was by far the most fun I ever had. You had 3 kill streaks, and that was it.
Right.
UAV, the gun or the helicopter and an airstrike. That's it. That's all you got.
That was another thing. I didn't feel like the kill streaks that I saw were overpowering.
No.
They gave momentary advantage. UAVs were still useful. And honestly, UAVs should be one of the most useful things. And,
Oh, yeah,
And
by
the
far.
last several Call of Duties that I played, UAVs were not worth using.
Right.
There were some bugs, like fighter jets being able to shoot through walls and people spawning underneath the map somehow. But they're already working on fixes for that. They've
Right.
Yeah, I assume
identified the
that's
issues.
part of the stress test, finding those little things.
But that was
people do.
it. I mean,
Was there anything like the old school chopper gunner?
There was.
Yeah, there
Chopper
was.
Gunner's a favorite.
But did you notice if it was easy to shoot down?
didn't get that.
Yeah.
That
survive
far,
that
yeah.
shot.
That's what I was wondering.
I was so close to that kill streak, but then I died.
Because I was reading the list, and it seemed like the kill streaks were a manageable thing to get this time.
I did watch a video where a guy got Chopper Gunner and he got hit with the rocket, and it didn't bring it down right away, but he was definitely concerned that the next hit was going to put him down. So not easy to bring down, but not difficult either.
Right.
That's the way it should be.
Right. It should be like that, but because it seemed like back, or not necessarily back in the day, but like the recent Call of Duties, no matter what kill streak you got, shot down just like that. Somebody would whip out a rocket immediately and just shoot it down. And my concern is not everybody should be packing rockets. Like
I'm sure you'll have those squads, but
you should. Well, but there's a difference between a squad. But you're talking about guys in previous Call of Duties where they had the point system. They're carrying an LMG in the battle and a rocket launcher. Who's doing that? Nobody.
and still sprinting.
Exactly.
Everybody else.
It's still
Right,
it's
it's still get a marathon perk that allows them to sprint all around the map.
That's the kind of stuff that makes Call of Duty feel bad sometimes, but I'm less concerned about that. And realism mode, not being able to hit detect. And
So that to me is what makes me the most excited.
I had a couple one-on-one firefights in that game I played, and they felt great because the dude just didn't know if he killed me or not.
Right.
Yeah, they felt good, man.
My
And
concern,
I know I didn't kill him, so I was still on my guard.
my concern with that realism mode though is if I remember reading it correctly, there was only the night mode.
No.
No, that okay.
Nope. There's
I think maybe it was only the night mode for the beta.
no.
I have no idea. on
I
that
played only day mode for realism.
Okay.
one. Yeah. My match was during the day.
I said maybe I just happened to read something
I played
somewhere,
a few
but
matches of the realism, and they were all.
I guess maybe what I was reading might have just been highlighting the night.
I honestly don't think that the night mode was in the beta at all. Actually,
Well,
They've
I've seen
changed
videos,
everything,
so it
like-
had to have been somewhere around there.
Okay.
Because I was watching plenty of videos, but all I was watching was just night mode. So
Gotcha.
that's what got me concerned about that.
Through the closed beta all the way till they shut it down, they changed things daily.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it could have been.
To try to
Could have
give you
missed it or something on the.
try to
first
give you
couple
a
days.
variety of stuff to play through.
Moving on though,
Well,
crossplay. Everything's
yeah.
moving to crossplay now.
yeah,
Which is fantastic.
Which it works great in Modern Warfare, and looking
Ooh.
at what Fortnite's done, and
With the exception being, though, you got Modern Warfare having that year lock. I don't know what this. I didn't read to see what the special thing was.
so that was for the survival, like the like firefight mode from Halo. That type of
okay.
mode was locked to PlayStation for a year.
right.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, a lot
That's
of
what
people-
said.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining that why introduce crossplay if you're going to limit PlayStation to being an exclusive to something.
It
Well,
doesn't
it'll
make
unlock
sense.
eventually.
Right, but a year later when the next Call of Duty is coming
I'm
out.
so sick of exclusivity deals, man. Sick
Yep.
of it.
I hope they learn on that one and they decide to change their mind, but there may be contract.
Yeah, it might be too late
obligated
for
at
that.
this point. But next year.
Crossplay as a whole is an amazing concept. Just like we were talking earlier with PUBG, I would love to see consoles and or computer be able to play together with PUBG because that opens up so much more people to play with.
And that's the way it should be for all multiplayer games. And it seems like that's the path we're starting to head towards, at bringing everybody together.
Well, and it only makes sense because then you look at shooting games particularly. It seems like there are times where we struggle just finding a match on PUBG.
Right. Yeah,
and if you're
absolutely.
introducing 2 more consoles to play it on,
Well,
then we might be able to find matches, but you might be able to play the new maps, and there actually be people there to play
the
with.
The interesting thing with this is typically it's Microsoft and Epic and a couple smaller developers pushing the crossplay thing. Nintendo jumping in there as well, and Sony being reluctant. But with the PUBG thing, they're starting off exclusively Sony and Xbox,
right?
which
That's crazy.
That's a huge step in the right direction.
Right.
Unheard of.
Even though it's unfortunate that they don't include the PC players yet.
I'm sure it's going to happen.
Right, especially if you're talking doing it with Microsoft.
It might just be their test or something.
Which would be great because, like I said, it opens up so many more possibilities for actually getting game modes into those kind of games.
It's weird. I just thought of this. So what was it, like a year or 2 ago? We were looking at every game trying to be an esports game.
Yeah.
And now every game's just trying to reach the biggest audience.
Yep.
And that is so much better than the whole esports thing.
Absolutely.
Right, because we're just 3 guys who play, every other week, and we love to have fun.
And we all have friends that almost entirely play console.
Yep.
It's a sad place
and
to
when
be
you're PC
sometimes.
Master Race. Not to get that going, but
let's not go there.
Right.
It gives me hope for the future of games.
Although I did see a funny picture earlier. It was showing like Microsoft, Sony, and PC watching Epic Games and Steam fight each other. It's like, all right, who's gonna win this?
But even that's like already starting to die off. Because the PC groups, we don't want exclusive.
No, not at all.
And
we want everything.
Yeah,
we want everything from everybody.
That's why people go to PC, for all the freedom that it offers.
I mean, it offers
All
a
the
tremendous
customization.
amount of freedom.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So when Steam or Valve and Epic decided who's got the bigger, I'm
What
pretty
does
sure the
Epic have?
backlash immediately is like, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope they hear the response.
not dogging on Epic, but if you download the Epic Games Launcher, what does it have? I mean, Fortnite?
Actually,
It's
their
got
store
quite
is
a few.
huge.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It blew up.
I haven't really had it installed because I don't play Fortnite a lot, so I don't ever pay attention to that. Not like I do with Origins and stuff, where I'm seeing new updates constantly.
Right.
But on the front of crossplay, we're moving into a new area of game streaming, Google Stadia, and here pretty soon Microsoft's doing xCloud with their Game Pass. Thank you, Van.
Moving into the next point.
But with xCloud and Game Pass, that's a suite of games that you're gonna have available. Games like Gears 5, which I've never been a big fan of Gears of War multiplayer, but there's a market there, and if they're doing it, other people are gonna do it. And being able to play multiplayer on the go,
And
console quality multiplayer on the go,
Right.
xCloud is going, mobile phones and stuff like that,
Right.
tablets. That's huge.
Yeah.
They're hitting all the audience.
Which makes me really excited to see if somebody like Sony or Microsoft will do what Nintendo has done with their handheld Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of being able to play, because I picked one up recently and been playing Zelda on it. I love the idea of playing a full-on Zelda game just like this.
Right.
'Cause I'm laying in bed and letting somebody else watch TV, do whatever. I can take it anywhere I want to go and just still be able to play Zelda. And if I just want to put it on TV, all I got to do is dock it and put a controller in. I mean,
So having that versatility with that
Right.
console is great. And if they all go toward that,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be mad.
oh,
What
yeah,
I think
I'd be
you're going to
happy.
see with Microsoft is they're going to have their console. They already said that. And then they're going to have their streaming service. And their streaming service isn't necessarily going to be built into a device. It's going to be built into as many devices
Right.
as they can reach. So if you've got like a Chromecast or a Fire or a Roku or something like that, and it's got a controller compatible device, that's probably how you're going to play it. On
Sure.
your TV anyway.
Yeah.
If you got I really hope that they continue to improve the Xbox controller. Right now, you can Bluetooth connect to an Android phone with an Xbox
What?
One controller.
That's
Yeah, that's been a
I
thing.
didn't know about that.
It's been a thing since they came out with the S model controller.
Oh, wow. I
That
didn't know
nobody
that.
talks about.
Oh, so you're telling me with xCloud, I will basically be able to play any game on my phone. I can stream that to my TV and still play with the controller.
Yeah, you'll have some latency, but
nutty.
That's okay if I'm playing a single player game. I can care less.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna play multiplayer like that.
I imagine their service, if you're using like Chromecast or something, it'll probably have a real bad lag and won't be very playable. But I'm imagine that if you're doing that with like Steam has their Steam Link or had
Right.
Steam Link, it'll be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Fire, Amazon Fire has a controller.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it'll be something similar to that.
That'd
NVIDIA
be
Shield,
freaking cool.
I believe will work with an Xbox controller. I'm not 100% on that, but stuff like that. I imagine those things are going to get pushed out, and the Xbox controller, because Microsoft wants you to use that with everything.
Right.
It's a matter of time before that's.
Which, going off topic a bit, it's weird that they're transitioning into a controller base, where 4 or 5 years ago we were trying to get everything on the Kinect, trying to get you to do everything with your voice and your hand
I'm really
signals.
glad
and,
they got away from the Kinect.
yeah, me too. But
I imagine that, and really, okay, so maybe you don't cast it, but they have USB-C to HDMI cables.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those things work great. So I imagine that controller based, anybody anywhere have an Xbox controller in your backpack and whip it out and play whatever game you want to play.
That's
Alright.
awesome.
Microsoft, a stand for the Xbox controller to hold your phone on. That's the next thing. Make that happen, because the ones that are out there are junk.
that is interesting because, like I said, the idea of playing a handheld console like an Xbox or PlayStation, I mean that's been a dream for everybody. Like that'd be
Phones
so
are
cool.
powerful enough now that there should be great games.
Phones
and
is tablets
honestly, mobile games are hot garbage.
Yeah, they're
for
all
most
bad
part.
right now.
Even the
There's a
ones
few
that are
gems,
good
but-
are bogged down with ads and things like
Oh
that.
gosh, so
I
many
would be
ads.
more than willing to spend the money on a game if it was console quality and I could play it on my phone.
But I wouldn't spend
If
console
I could use a
quality game
controller.
price though.
No,
That's the problem.
You need a markdown. But if it's a game that I can play on my phone or on my console or on my computer, I'll
Right.
pay that price.
If you're only paying it once.
Yeah, once.
Right. If
But
you're
Microsoft does play anywhere. So.
right. 'Cause, yeah, I would.
And Sony dabbled with that too when they did the PS Vita, right? Yeah, you could stream your PS4 games to the Vita.
Yeah, I think so.
During that
I think
time, I
was
didn't
the
have a
thing.
PlayStation.
I never messed around with any of that.
They dabbled with it. I don't know how popular it was. I didn't mess with
Not
it.
as popular as the Vita. so not very.
Unfortunate for them, but
They were
and
just. I
with
think
the
they did
Switch being a
before.
thing. you
Yeah.
know,
I
and also getting xCloud and Game Pass support one day. I assume that's where they're going with that.
Probably.
that'd be cool.
That'll be awesome.
All right. I love that Switch. I love playing games like
Maybe
that.
we'll see Master Chief and Smash Brothers. Just saying. That'd be cool.
So
Yeah,
moving on to our last topic, we want to talk about Bioware.
Don't.
I know it's a touchy topic, but
in
it
so many
seems like
ways.
they've been kind of going downhill in recent years, with their last two games being less than ideal.
Call it what it really is, because those games sucked.
Yeah,
Anthem,
I'll say it.
Anthem, they just announced they're abandoning their plans for for DLC and for
Right.
like the year worth of content,
Yeah.
and they're moving to a seasonal.
which I imagine will probably be more like Destiny.
Yeah,
2.
so they're trying to make it more like Destiny 2, and it's just not gonna work. It is too little, too late.
Yeah, unfortunately that's not going to happen.
Not anytime soon.
I really wish that Bioware would have just focused on single player games. I get adventuring out and trying something new, but
If Anthem had been a single player only thing, it probably would have done significantly
they
better.
were banking on this huge endeavor. They put all their resources into it, and then it was a big fat flop.
Well, for this topic, did a little bit of homework. We were drawing it up on the whiteboard the other day. In 2007, they got bought by EA.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to 2007, they had Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Ooh.
They had Neverwinter Nights, the first one. They had
So
Knights of the Old Republic. They had a couple other games. Not a single bad game in the series. The first Mass Effect.
Bioshock.
Not Bioshock.
What, after 2007?
Bioshock was
Bioshock's
made
not
by somebody
Bioware.
else.
Oh. My bad. Just
Uh,
remember, I never put the game, so I never put it in.
But so they the first Dragon Age was in that gray area where it was probably being developed before 2007, but released under EA.
Dragon Age Origins was amazing.
Yeah.
Origins was amazing. Oh, yeah.
So prior to their purchase with EA, being bought by EA, every game they had was hit. Even their very first game, I'm gonna butcher the name, Shattered Steel. Even that was well received, if not a.
He's a little older than us.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older. It was well received, even though it wasn't a blockbuster hit. They didn't make bad games.
Look, he's talking about shopping at Blockbuster.
Oh no!
Show the age real well. Sorry, wait, we had
Hollywood Video.
Oh, Hollywood Video, I miss it.
Stan?
Right in front of Cub Foods.
Yeah, Cub Foods and Food for Less and Price Chopper, then Hy-Vee.
I remember always doing the grocery shopping at Cub Foods and running over to Hollywood Video and grabbing a movie or something.
Grabbing some Boston Market on the way home. There's an inside joke there. But
Stan? Why are you, Stan?
so anyway, 2007 they got purchased. Then they had Dragon Age Origin released with EA. They had Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 had its issues. Otherwise, a solid game.
But Mass Effect 2 is by far the best game in the whole series.
And Mass Effect 2 is one of the greatest
Yeah.
games I think I've ever played.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely is in my top 10.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But then they had Dragon Age 2.
Which was less than exciting. They went away from the formula that was Dragon Age Origins and tried to build on the success from the Mass Effect games. So they made Dragon Age 2 like the Mass Effect games. And I think that it was such a shock to the player base that it was not so well received.
That's not what they were. That's not what you were expecting.
That wasn't what you wanted. Then Dragon Age Inquisition came out, and that one was better. People
Hit or
were
miss,
more used to that after Dragon Age 2, and it was a better game.
So, when EA made this purchase, their plan for BioWare was that was their RPG brand, BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
And they incorporated up to 7 other studios into the Edmonton thing. So you had Austin, you had Mythic, you had Montreal. Montreal, that's the one I was forgetting. And you had a few others that came and went. And now you're down to BioWare Austin and BioWare Edmonton again. Montreal got absorbed into this whole Anthem mess. And they also made our Andromeda.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
And the best thing about Andromeda is that you can block it out of your memory. And
Best thing about Andromeda is I didn't pay $60 for it.
I did.
Thank you, EA Origins.
No. Wait, I think I paid $45. I think it was a deal on Green Man.
Yeah.
I neglected to pay for that crap and waited till it was on EA Access. And I played that crap for free.
I don't think it's EA's fault that BioWare has gone downhill. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that studio, but I know Montreal, they had a lot of crap going on with Andromeda. You know, part of their team was apparently pulled for the Anthem game, and I think that was
They
kind
put
of
too much
the
on
nail
one.
in the coffin.
Yeah.
They put all their eggs in this Anthem basket, and it's not working out.
That and you have too many coals in the fire, and you can't focus on one thing.
I'm really worried about BioWare. I want them to succeed. You know, they've always made great games that I have. They're some of my favorites.
Now, really, they've only got 2 games that stand out as complete disasters. It's not too late.
Nope.
But what they need to do, personally, I think they need to reduce their scope to focusing on what works for them.
Focus on the
Multiplayer
characters.
was
Focus
never
on
the
the
thing.
story.
Focus on the story. That's what drew me to Mass Effect, the original trilogy.
Get away from the multiplayer. You know, they did such great single player games.
Oh, yeah.
None of them required multiplayer. It always felt tacked on.
You know what? To that
Especially Mass
comment,
Effect.
competitive multiplayer is what they need to stay away from. Neverwinter Nights had a co-op multiplayer that worked. Baldur's Gate had a co-op multiplayer that worked.
Dragon Age Inquisition also had a co-op multiplayer, and it wasn't really all that fun. It didn't feel tacked on, but it felt like it was just kind of a dungeon runner. And
Well, because
it
the
wasn't
problem,
really all that great.
the problem with things like because Neverwinter, I would put more in that category of almost like WoW, where you're doing a bunch of different stuff. But your problem with Dragon Age and like Mass Effect is you're playing somebody else's story.
Right.
All you're doing is helping somebody else, and those kind of co-op multiplayers to me just aren't fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes away from the story.
The
Right,
drop
like,
in,
you're
drop
not-
out is
right, like,
convenient, and
what's-
that's all it is.
What am I dropping in for you to do the same stuff I've already either played or you're 10 steps ahead of me?
Right.
It's not you. Who has time to sit there and play a co-op game like that consecutively? You just
Nobody.
don't.
Or not.
No. Yeah, if you don't start to finish play a game co-op like that, it's just not a good
Yeah.
time to me.
No.
Hopefully, they go back to like what Neverwinter had, and even then, you know, you could get away with some of that. It was drop in, drop out, but your character was your character, and that's what I want to see. And if they continue to do multiplayer, but
When I think of Bioware and the games that they've made, I think of deep characters, that you interact with, and they are part of the world, and it feels great.
Right.
And then a complex story where it's not all black and white. There's a gray area. There's
And the gray area is there because you get to make choices.
exactly
I love choice-driven games.
as long as they're real choices and not like the illusion of choice.
Right.
yeah, real choices.
But
As in the Mass Effect had great choices.
right, as I was going to say,
They did.
Mass Effect
That
had the great
carried across
choices.
3
You
games.
look at Mass Effect 1. You had an option to genocide a whole race, and if you didn't, that came back in Mass Effect 3 where they helped you.
Yep.
Like those are the kind of choices I want to keep making because that is
Exactly.
the best
That was
choices.
one of my favorite things about that trilogy is that
Right?
the stuff actually mattered. It came back to
And it
you.
mattered
Yeah.
through all 3 games.
And really, that's been the case in long history of BioWare is having choices that matter. Not the Old Republic had choices that matter.
Yep.
Because when you do games like that, where games where choices really matter, you have the most replayability. How many times did you and I play Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect? There were nights where we speedrun that game
Yeah,
just so we can get the
probably-
choices we wanted.
Probably played it 4 or 5 times in like one weekend.
Yeah.
I believe
Leading
it,
up
man.
to Mass Effect 2 because we wanted our
Several
save to be
characters
set
to-
up. Yeah.
Right, yeah, we had several saves so we could do several different runs. I mean, I think at one point you and I could beat that game in 6 hours.
And since it was across 3 games, I mean, that is just so many different
Right.
branches, and everything all comes back and ties back up.
Right, and it's one of those things that, yes, you could pick Mass Effect 3 up and play it as a standalone game, but it was better to go through and
To
play
go
it.
through the others.
Like, when Mass Effect 3 came out, guess what we did? We still played Mass Effect 1 all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was you just wanted to see your choices all the way through.
Same here,
everything
man.
fresh
It was
through
me.
your
That was the same
mind. And the thing is, we talk about their game being story driven. Emphasis on character story driven.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't
Not
need
plot driven.
we don't need Andromeda scale in terms of story. It doesn't have to be this big world altering story. The best parts of Mass Effect, to me, were the character stories, the side stories for your companions.
Right, going and doing the companion
Helping
missions
them
were the best
out,
thing
yeah.
ever.
A trial for, Talia.
Yep.
Yeah,
Talia's
yep,
trial.
yep.
Yeah, that.
Which,
that
by the way, I
trial,
romanced, and that was one of the saddest romances ever. The possibility of killing her was
Right.
terrible.
I still wanted to see her face, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I was a little
but at the
disappointed.
same time, I'm glad you didn't.
it
Right,
leaves a little
kept
mystery
the mystery,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also kept the mystery of whether or not she died.
Oh, she didn't die.
I don't believe she was in the 3rd game, so you didn't get the actual thought there. And up until actually sleeping with her, you were led to believe that the moment her mask came off, she would die.
I don't think it
No,
was a moment
she-
thing. that
Not like
made
a
her
moment, but
sick.
she would get super sick and she would die from that.
She had prepared for it. There was ways that
There-
she could
there was. She
prepare,
did- she did take
It was still
certain-
dangerous, but it was.
But yeah, I would love to see her face. I
The-
love romancing. She was like one of the coolest ones to romance.
She was one of my favorite characters.
She was.
Jack was one of my favorites. Like crazy psycho.
Jack was crazy. But
Crazy.
That or Rex when he headbutt everything.
I think that about does it on time. I
Yeah.
think we went a little further than what we
Yeah.
intended,
About
but
25 minutes ish.
good conversation.
Oh yeah, we could go on forever.
We could.
That's what happens when you bring me around here.
It's all right. We're gonna work towards making these videos shorter and a little bit more watchable.
I'm gonna find a better cup than the Golden Girls.
There's nothing wrong with the Golden Girls.
I'm telling you, it's weird though. You can only see like 2 faces, like a face and a half. Like, I feel like I gotta switch hands just so you can see the others.
Well,
And I can't drink left-handed.
bring your own cup next time.
If you've watched this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye.
See you next time.
See you next time.